The food stamps program is administered by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. They proudly report that they distribute free meals and food stamps to 46 million people on an annual basis. Meanwhile, the National Park Service, ran by the U.S. Department of Interior, ask us to please do not feed the animals when we visit the parks. Their stated reason for this policy is being that the animals will grow accustomed and dependent on the handouts, and they will never learn to take care of themselves. The food stamps program is administered by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. They proudly report that they distribute free meals and food stamps to 46 million people on an annual basis. Meanwhile, the National Park Service, ran by the U.S. Department of Interior, ask us to please do not feed the animals when we visit the parks. Their stated reason for this policy is being that the animals will grow accustomed and dependent on the handouts, and they will never learn to take care of themselves. The food stamps program.
Good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of African Americans Ain't Africans, the Think show that proves without a shadow of a doubt that the so-called African American didn't find themselves in America in the trunk of a ship. I'm your host, Indigenous One. So we're just going to share something real quick this morning. You know, with all this government shutdown, all this food stamp, blah, blah, blah. So you'll have a source. Because I think if we start looking at it in the way that we're supposed to look at it, it'll work out in our favor. First of all, I want to say good morning to Copper Colored Lifestyle. How are you doing this morning? Quinn, apologetically, what difference have we made as Indigenous Black folks? Okay, so this is the kind of question I get all the time when people who don't know nothing, who don't think, who only look at the world by what they've been told, not their actual position. So when you ask questions like this, come on, man, we passed that. You got to grow from that. You got to evolve from that. You want to know what difference have you made as Indigenous Black folks? You didn't. There's no Indigenous Black folks. Again, you're always looking at yourselves from somebody else's point of view. That's how they get over. They just use you. Now, you want to know the difference? Because there's no such thing as Indigenous Black folks. The people you see on the logo, they're not Black. They're Indigenous. But you keep calling yourselves Black, wiping out everything that those people have done. You made that difference, didn't you? So let's move on. Sylvia Love Jones, how you doing this afternoon, sweetheart? Thank you for tuning in this morning. Same goes with the two-leg animals. They've been feeding them too long. So somebody gets it. See, that's what I'm saying. Everybody ain't Black in their thinking. You got to take care of yourself. You got to try and better yourself. You, each and every single last one of us. We don't know how to plant food to feed ourselves. Black people don't, because Black people have been blocked out of that. Black people have been told, here, let me feed you. Then the food, is it food? Somebody give me a real answer. Is the food, is whatever they're selling in the store, is that nutritionally sustainable for people? Yes or no? Somebody got to know. Yeah, too many people make excuses. And not only that, The people who make confusion and excuses, they have a whole cadre of people behind them parroting the same thing. You mean to tell me nobody in none of these big cities, and I'm sure in all of these cities you have farmers out everywhere, but they're just mainly ignored. They're mainly ignored. You mean the communities have become so torn apart that the people on the north side of the street can't trade with people on the south side of the street, no matter what it is? They can't put their pennies together, buy a hog or whatever they eat, and have it rendered for the whole block. We've sunk that low. We can't do that. You grow tomatoes, I grow lettuce. We everybody's, and they bringing in this AI to confuse you, the crap out of you. And people who have an eye should see it, what's real and not real. But most people that you call black don't see it. They never see it because they're blacked out, black, black. They all mean the same thing. You can replace any vowel with any other vowel. Same thing. Guess who doesn't know that? The people who should. So don't let all this stuff that's going on get you all riled up. It's not like that. Continue taking care of each other, those of you that do. Those of you that don't, this is what's coming for you. The United States have been a pain in the ass on the planet for a long time. Not just to you here in America, but all over the world. All over the world. There's not a country you can go to where they don't hate Americans. Anywhere. They hate Americans. And when you ask them why, and they tell you, you just mosey on off, trying to be far away from it. This is what we're going to have to recognize with what's going on in politics and everything. The past couple of 100 years, everywhere the United States went to share democracy with people, they fucked them countries up. If I start naming them, I won't be able to stop. It's so many. Those countries now are forming together, making alliances with other countries that America has dicked over for all these years, coming up with their own forms of money, their own forms of business, how everything was once done in the United States' eyes is now going to be looked at in the eyes of the world. I'm saying this because Black people rarely, if ever, get this. One of the things, if you're paying attention in all the sports, the leagues are being filled up with more foreigners. In politics, you have an Indian who's the head of an FBI. That doesn't register with Black folks. Education, the HBCUs are being ran by people who come from other places. The food, You walk into your grocery stores, foodstuffs from other countries take up aisles. The people that on whose country everybody sells their stuff on, their stuff is nowhere in the stores. Now, only the African American just runs their mouths and talk, but never talks about anything. But keep one thing in mind about what all these countries, and this is again, gatekeepers, people who keep you away from the truth, people to ensure that you are dumb. And they're doing a really good job. All these people that are coming over here, and the world has made treaties and pacts because the United States has dogged a lot of people out. One thing well, I think these cats who are coming from these wars, who have been in these wars, they know now. The United States has been dogging out a whole bunch of places. One thing that keeps escaping, we act like we don't know that it happened, was that you were there doing the dirty work, weren't you? Weren't you? See, what black people won't do is tell the truth. They're incapable of. And like I say, if you're black, you call yourself black, and what I'm saying is not true, please come up and explain yourself. We love to hear it. Come on and explain yourself. The link to the chat has just been shared. Please explain yourself. Because what black people do is normally called confusions. They're gatekeepers, helpers. When you ask them what they do, they'll tell you. Black people block themselves from themselves. That's how good at gatekeeping duties they are. If show me where I'm making a mistake. So all these people are rallying up, get together, but you know what they also have in mind, and why you always get dicked economically? Because black people do get dicked economically, right or wrong. If I'm wrong, somebody please come up and make sure that I see the light. Do you have more stuff in your house made from China, or do Chinese people have more stuff in their country made from you? You know, somebody please give me answer. Come on. Come on. So what you call black folks, they have been turned against themselves. Since they've been turned against themselves, what's happening next is all these countries are coming over, replacing you. And you literally begged for it with the African American stuff. Why? Because you were trained to do that. You were trained to do that. You wanted to be into a system. You wanted somebody else to educate your children other than yourselves. Amen. Get it? So I'm saying this so you can see what position you are in and what you have to do to get out of that position. Jesus ain't coming. Muhammad ain't coming. Alu Akbar. This is something that you're going to have to fix yourself. And you have everything you need. You have everything you need. You got a family. You have ancestors that who you haven't even tapped into yet. And those are the people in your Bible. See, your spiritual construct is not theirs. Your spiritual ideologies aren't Catholic. They aren't Christian. They aren't Hindu. Don't you think the people that you see on the logo, you don't think they had a spiritual ideology? I mean, really? Didn't they have a spiritual ideology? If you did that, which everybody tries to do, but they don't do it. I'll give you an example. You ever see the powwows? You see how bland they look? They're not like how you would do it. What's those line dances? That's a form of it, right? We don't even recognize it. That's your powwows. And if you look at the ones today, they are toned down tremendously from how your ancestor did it. So I just wanted to drop those facts, especially what the guy said about if you keep feeding something, they won't be able to take care of themselves. Is that where we are today? You guys have a good weekend. Is it the weekend? No. See, look, you're going to get to the point where the days of the week doesn't matter because all it is something that you built on from yesterday. You're on somebody else's time clock. You're in somebody else's time space continuum. You're not in yours. Somebody come tells you what day it is, you get in line with what they say. What you say. And if you don't say it, say it. You don't say nothing. You just do what other people tell you to do. You don't have a culture where you say what goes. You don't have a culture where you teach your children. Other people come in and do that. And you have no problem with it. So this is what we mean. Black people block themselves away from themselves. And you have your people when you hear of the what's the time in history, the dark ages and all that stuff. What were your folks doing? When you hear of all these wars going on, what were your folks doing? Seriously. At the time of Jesus Christ, what were your people doing? And when you ask black people this, you just get that dumb look on their face. Huh? Don't even think of it. Don't even think of it. Think of it. Think of it. Think about the people in your family that's alive now. You got some brilliant people in your family, but they use their brilliance to make other people comfortable. That's all the African American is. That's all the black person is. And make themselves uncomfortable. If I'm wrong, please somebody come up and explain how I'm wrong. This is what you do. You guys have a great, it's not the weekend, a great Tuesday. Peace.